On your side, this is News 12 at 11.
Good evening, I'm Richard Rogers.
And I'm Meredith Anderson. Race and law enforcement in the spotlight again tonight, and a different outcome in one local town than in other parts of the country.
A day after a New York grand jury decides not to indict an officer in a chokehold death, a white South Carolina cop is in court, charged with killing an unarmed black man. Prosecutors say Richard Combs was the police chief in Utahville in Orangeburg County when he shot and killed a 54-year-old man back in 2011. News 12's Christy Etheridge was in Orangeburg this evening and tells us how people there are reacting.
Richard, there are mixed emotions. A lot of people are happy with the decision to indict, but they're also upset people in Ferguson and New York City aren't seeing the same results. It's the same message we've seen in Ferguson and again in New York. But this protest in Orangeburg, South Carolina is for something that happened much closer to home.
Citizens of Orangeburg County found that there was probable cause, and they indicted Richard Combs for murder.
Former Utahville Police Chief Richard Combs is now an inmate in jail, indicted for the murder of Bernard Bailey by a grand jury yesterday. But the beginning of the story dates back to a night in 2011 when Bailey's daughter got a ticket for having a taillight out.
She called her father to come out because she was a little concerned for her own personal safety.
An argument between the father and officer turned heated, but ultimately everyone went home.
Approximately 2 or 3 days later, Mr. Combs decided that he would get a warrant for Mr. Bailey's arrest for obstructing justice.
But Bailey didn't find that out until 2 months later when he went to town hall to pay his daughter's fine.
Naturally, Mr. Bailey was shocked and surprised and made a comment, something to the effect of, "You got to be kidding me." So he walked out of town hall kind of quickly to try to get to his pickup truck.
It's as Bailey is trying to drive away that the details get fuzzy. The Bailey family attorney says Chief Combs was partially in the truck as Bailey tried to get away.
Bailey cranked the pickup truck up, put it in reverse, and there's a debate as to how fast or how far the truck moved. Of course, a dead man can't talk.
Chief Combs claims he felt threatened when the truck started moving, unholstered his gun, and fired 3 shots, killing Bernard Bailey.
No sound.
Now, as a 3-year-old case moves forward, protesters say this shooting is setting America back.
I'm standing here right now protesting for the same thing that my grandfather protested for. That happened in 2011, right? It's 2014. I just wonder what took so long.
But Combs' attorney says timing is actually in the other side's favor and has more to do with shootings hundreds of miles away than the one just down the street.
Timing is perfect. He's got all the national issues going on, so they want to drag him in and say, look what a great community we are here because we're going to put a police officer who was doing his job in jail for 30 years. That's wrong. That's completely wrong.
That trial was supposed to start December 8th, Richard, but Bailey's attorney says it will now be rescheduled for sometime in January.
And Christy, like the young man said in your report, some people are wondering why, if that shooting happened in 2011, we're just now hearing about a murder indictment now.
Well, it's a good question, and the Bailey attorney says it's actually because the feds investigated first, and that took 2 years. And then when they handed it back over to the state and county, they ended up indicting Combs for misconduct in office last year. Then Combs tried to file a stand your ground hearing saying his life was threatened at that time, but a judge denied that 2 weeks ago. So the solicitor went forward then with the murder charge.
Thank you, Christy. In a news conference after Richard Combs saw the judge for the first time, Bernard Bailey's widow spoke about how the family is dealing with his death.
We as a family are very strong. We stick together. Mr. Bailey was a good man, a very good provider, and we all miss him greatly.
Bailey's family filed a wrongful death suit against the town. The family's attorney confirming they reached a settlement of $400,000.
Weather-wise tonight, got the fog developing once again, and that's going to greet us as we head out the door tomorrow. We can already see evidence of that looking over downtown Augusta, so that will settle in, and visibilities will be low at times as you head out the door, so expect a little bit of slowdowns out there. Temperatures slow to fall. We're at 55 in Aiken, 59 in Washington, heading southward Swainsboro, checking in at 61. Satellite and the radar combined indicating a couple of sprinkles up here. Well, a little wave moving northward, grazing some of our northernmost counties, but really not that much, if anything, falling for us across the rest of the region. So we'll go 52 out the door with patchy fog early on. We'll go yellow, disruptive weather, slowing you down. I don't think we'll have that problem toward the afternoon. Skies are mostly cloudy, but we're right back there into the mid-60s for afternoon highs. We do have some rain on the way. I'll show you that in the 7-day forecast coming up in just a bit. Meredith.
Thanks for that, Shane. A reminder tonight from Health Team 12, TB testing at a Richmond County school is happening tomorrow. Tests are scheduled for everyone at Westside High who came into contact with the person who tested positive for tuberculosis after going to the hospital with symptoms. Still no word on who that person is or even if he or she is a student or a staff member. Tomorrow's skin test is for exposure to TB. A positive result doesn't necessarily mean someone is sick.
A change in leadership at Augusta's Charlie Norwood VA, but it's not the first time she's been in charge there. Michelle Cox-Henley is now the interim director of the VA, replacing Robert Hamilton, who resigned. In 2013, Henley stepped in as interim director, and months later, a News 12 investigation uncovered 3 patients died due to a lack of medical care.
One Georgia lawmaker wants to make it illegal to pretend to be a veteran to get benefits. Charles Allen Chavis is in jail in connection to a 1975 murder, but his case brought up some unverified claims about him being a prisoner of war. After some digging, we couldn't find his name on multiple government and military sites. If Georgia passes this new bill, cases like this could result in fines or even jail time. One veteran we spoke to believes the bill is a good idea.
I get upset when people impersonate veterans because it's not right. You know, it's a complete different world in the military, and it takes a special breed of person to do it.
The bill would make it illegal for anyone to impersonate a veteran to get benefits or other help, like getting a job, money, retail discounts, or to gain a favorable outcome in a court hearing or election to public office. In 2013, Congress approved a similar federal law.
A man accused of threatening a Richmond County narcotics investigator and his wife is out on bond tonight. Ryan Paquette's bond set at $20,000. He was originally denied bond at a hearing last month. Investigators say Ryan made the threats after his brother Brandon was arrested for allegedly selling steroids. Brandon claims he sold those steroids to several past and present employees at the Richmond County Sheriff's Office. A GBI investigation is still pending on those allegations. The man responsible for a 3-hour standoff at a Thompson motel in 2010 has been sentenced for one of his crimes. Harvey McDaniel pled guilty to voluntary manslaughter and will spend 18 years behind bars. He was wanted in Orangeburg for an armed robbery and stabbing death at the time of the standoff at the Scottish Inn in Thompson.
Prosecutors are seeking the death penalty against a man charged with murdering a 21-month-old girl in Hartsville, South Carolina last year. Documents filed by the prosecutor's office say they are going for the maximum punishment because Timothy Sanders killed the toddler for money or for something else of value and on the behalf of another person. The toddler's mother is also charged with murder in that case.
U.S. Senator Lindsey Graham says President Barack Obama will get most of the money he's asking for to fight Ebola in Africa. Graham is one of the main negotiators in the foreign aid budget. He says President Obama will not get the full $1.5 billion for a contingency fund, but he will get the go-ahead for other portions of that request.
We are on your side tonight looking at child care costs. A new report says finding care for your child could cost more than a college education. Child Care Aware says the cost of child care in the U.S. can be more than $14,500 for an infant. In Georgia, it costs more than $7,200 a year. In South Carolina, more than $6,200.
Several local high school students are nominated to attend America's Service Academies. U.S. Congressman Paul Brown in Georgia's 10th District nominated 22 students. These students have been nominated for the U.S. Military Academy, one student nominated for the U.S. Naval Academy, another for the U.S. Merchant Marine Academy, and one received the nomination for the U.S. Air Force Academy.
A South Carolina community coming together to help a mourning family, and it all started with a tree. A Christmas tree was put on 8-year-old Christian Lopez's grave by family and friends after he died in a car accident. But a couple of days later, the Christmas tree was stolen. After seeing the story on the news, several people came together and replaced the tree.
I was shocked because that's what I told my daughter. I said, there's a tree on the grave, and I thought maybe it was somebody had brought it back, but it wasn't. It was a different tree.
The family hoped the holiday symbol would make Christian happy. Now some are volunteering to put up another memorial for him near where the crash happened.
If you're not already in the Christmas spirit, some live music tomorrow could put you in the mood. The U.S. Army Signal Corps Band putting on a holiday concert. It's tomorrow at 7 o'clock at First Baptist Church in Augusta. There's still a chance to get your free tickets all over town, or you can show up there at the door. Meredith and I will be hosting that event for you. If you can't make it out live, you can watch it live right here on My 12, our sister station.
Columbia Middle School 8th grade band members performing in a big concert tonight, and a special moment for one teen. Julian has autism and was the special conductor for the evening. Julian loves music and was dressed up in the full marching band outfit for his big night.
I cried because he loves music so much. And it was just a wonderful feeling. And I can't thank the music teacher, Miss McDonald, enough.
Carolyn says Julian even calls the music teacher his music girl, and I think the smile from the mom says it all, but so does the standing ovation and the smiles on the faces in the audience. What a great night for him.
He's taking his bow.
He sure
well
is.
done.
Good
Sounded
for him.
Great. Well, still to come here on News 12 at 11. More protest in New York tonight and other cities after an officer is cleared in a chokehold death. Why they say this is injustice.
Plus, some young patients in South Carolina got a nice Skype call from the North Pole.
And weather-wise for us, some fog overnight. We've got a cold front on the way. It's going to lead to a few showers into our weekend. I think part of the weekend we'll have some sunshine. I'll show you coming up.
Some of the young patients at the Medical University of South Carolina Children's Hospital got quite a nice surprise today. They got the chance to chat with Santa live from the North Pole. The Cisco Santa Connection program lets kids see him live on a video screen and give him their wish list before he heads out on the delivery route on December 24th, which is not too far away from now.
It is amazing the technology they have now. Now you
Skyping
can
with
Skype with Santa.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
So if you've been bad, you have time to correct that before it's too late.
Yeah, that's true. You need to, I know a couple people who need to be working on that.
Get on that.
The military mission in Iraq, meanwhile, and Syria, one step closer tonight to getting the funding it needs. Where that defense bill stands now.
New York, Atlanta, just a couple of the cities seeing protests tonight, while demonstrators say recent events show the justice system is not working. Another night of protest in New York tonight, a day after a grand jury decides not to charge a police officer in a chokehold death. As CBS's Marley Hall reports, demonstrators say it's just the latest example of injustice in the justice system.
Thousands of demonstrators filled the streets of Manhattan for a second night of protests. They're upset with a grand jury's decision not to charge New York City police officer Daniel Pantaleo for the apparent chokehold death of Eric Garner.
Eric Garner, Mike Brown!
Alexis Francisco is also protesting last month's decision by a Missouri grand jury not to charge former Ferguson officer Darren Wilson for the shooting death of Michael Brown.
I'm sick and tired of seeing black men around this country getting killed by police and there being no accountability, no repercussions. You want to choke me out too?
Some taunted the responding but reserved police. This officer even supplied traffic cones to alert drivers to a protester standing in the middle of the street. The demonstrators were not bound by skin color or geography. Protesters clogged the Brooklyn Bridge, stormed the Kennedy Expressway in Chicago, shut down Interstate 35 in Minneapolis, and marched through Boston Common.
The protesters say they're not buying Officer Pantaleo's statement that he didn't mean to harm Garner. He's still facing an internal NYPD investigation.
And then he could get fired. And remember, we're talking about a police officer that lives in the city, does what he was trained to do, literally an Eagle Scout.
Protesters say they'll keep shining a light on what they call injustice.
This is how America gets things done. It's by our people working together to achieve what they want.
Marley Hall, CBS News, New York.
CBS has learned the officer told the grand jury he used a technique he learned at the police academy to subdue Garner. New York's police commissioner says all officers will be getting new training in taking down a suspect. Demonstrators in downtown Atlanta protesting the decision not to indict that New York City officer. About 100 protesters came together near the 5 Points MARTA station. Several universities also held protests, some with die-ins where demonstrators lie on the ground.
Police say a man killed his wife, another woman, and then the pastor at the church where his wife worked. Officials say 33-year-old Andy Avalos shot the pastor in Bradenton, Florida. While deputies were at that scene, they learned about the other two from a witness. Avalos' wife, Amber, was a nursery and children's director at the church. The couple had 6 children.
The extended military mission in Iraq and Syria is getting closer to getting funding. The House approved a bill today paying for the military operations to fight ISIS, along with a 1% pay raise for the troops. It also funds the training and equipping of Syrian rebels. The defense bill allows $585 billion in spending. Now the measure heads to the Senate, where it's also expected to pass. Coming up on News 12 at 11, a Christmas tree lighting on a grand scale.
We head to Washington, where the first family had the honors.
4, 3, 2, 1. Hey, it's Christmas time at the White House. President Barack Obama, the First Lady, the daughters lighting up the national Christmas tree tonight.
This is the 92nd year of the lighting of the Christmas tree, which started in 1923 with President Calvin Coolidge. President Obama even did a little dance to celebrate the holiday season, and of course Santa made an appearance.
Absolutely. Beautiful tree and a good time in our nation's capital tonight. Not too cold up there, but they do have the heavy coats out. Shane, you can see them bundle up.
Yeah, they're partying it up there. Even the
Yeah, they are.
going at it.
Wow. St. Nick's got the microphone
I've
there.
seen the president kind of kick it in like that.
I've never seen Santa sing lead vocals on anything
No.
until tonight. That's good. That is going to do it for News 12 at 11 o'clock. Good to have you up late with us tonight.
Be sure to wake up bright and early with Jess and Tim in the morning, and a funny surprise from Santa. Be sure to watch it in the morning. Jess, I'm sorry. I'll just leave it at that.